I don't know why this. I don't know why these things started again. Demonic energy, maybe. Okay, pay attention. There's one thing I would tell people, witches out there, to help with your craft. Maybe that's what we do. We give each other unsolicited advice every day, but I'm not going up to your face and doing it. I like that mode of human talking. Like, hey, listen to me, man. I know shit. Okay? It's just a way of talking. There are people who make their careers going, when you get up in the morning, you should think 3 positive thoughts. I always brush my hair and go, I am beautiful 3 times. Is pay attention to things. You can never pay too much attention. You'll pay a lot of money. You'll pay a lot of woe. Pay attention. Pay attention. And if you're being violated, there's not enough attention in the world. I think you. I don't want to deal with you anymore. Okay? You're an idiot. And there are ways of dealing with narcissists where you stay friends with them and you don't make a big deal. It's called like forgive and forget. Sociopaths and predators love this. Forgive and forget. People use it on the TV all the time. Forgive and forget. And it's like, oh, it's not so bad. Oh, and you'll have some sort of sobering conversation. I respect you. I'm sorry if you felt that way, right? And then it goes back to normal. You haven't really solved anything, right? Because, I mean, it's not like you have a miracle cure for brain parasites, right? It takes a lot of time. I've lived with my mom for years. It's like, she has a very unhealthy relationship. I say, Mom, you say things to Lindsay that get her gunned up. You shouldn't share so much personal information with her. And she says things like, oh, I'm tired of you, say this about her. I said, Mom, you're the one talking to her, not me. And she's so sociopathic, saying, you're the one talking to her, not me. I'm not saying anything to her. You're the one talking to her. You're the one telling her things. You're the one inviting her into our lives. You're doing that, not me. And she wants to make me responsible for her behavior. And then she wants to throw my sister under the bus too. Oh, well, she does this. And Mom, you can't just keep playing both of us to the middle. Okay? You have to take responsibility for your life. Oh, yes, of course, I'll do that. I don't think she knows what that means. And I don't think I like what she would interpret it to mean. It's like, oh my God. You know, she's put herself into debt. She had tons of money last year. And I'm asking her today about her decisions. Okay, why did you do this? And why did you do this? Why did you exclude me? She won't answer that question. Oh, there's never a good reason for anything. Because I don't think she knows why she does things. That's insane. That's insane. Why wouldn't you do this? And why wouldn't you do that? I used all my money to pay the cost of what you did without talking to me. Doesn't say thank you. Nothing. There's no humility there. Just costing people money. She spent her marriage to my dad just costing him money all the time. Just fucking with him. She was amazing. She'd get a credit card. She'd go to Acapulco while my dad had to work 5-6 days a week. Taking our money, taking the house's money, left him, hurt him, beat him, sexually assaulted him. It's incredible. I don't hold it against her now. And I understand that there's other points of view, but she doesn't take any responsibility for this. Women are notorious for that. Or demonic women. They're notorious for it. Doing all kinds of shit and never... Anyway. Yeah. My mom hasn't had a lot of help, so when I talk to her, I'm giving her the only real therapy she's ever had. But she hates my guts. And it's like, Mom, I wish you well every day. Yeah? I hate to be a better person than my mom. I don't think I really am a better person than my mom, but Sometimes it's hard not to wonder. All right. I wish her well. I do. I fear her too. I mean, I don't know what she's going to do from day to day. The way she spends money, the way she puts things on her credit card, she's just going to go more and more debt. You realize that she bought furniture she can't and couldn't expect to use and is going into thousands of dollars of debt, putting it into storage. So it just never ends. And she didn't talk to anyone about what she was doing. Didn't consult me. Her entire business plan was fuck myself. And in a way that makes it look like it's my fault. She's just building a castle of ruin around me so she can say, I did this because of you. Amazing. She did the same thing to my dad. Built a castle of ruin around him. And just, that's pure hatred of a woman who was raped when she was 5 years old. And think about that. She had to live in the same house as her rapist. She had to live around him. She had to live in the same house of the brother who raped her, right? Who everyone respected like a father figure. She had to live around these fuckers, right? She had to sit at the table with them and listen to them carry on with their stupid fucking thoughts. You know, can you imagine that? And so she doesn't know how to do anything more than bring ruin upon herself and the closest man in her life. That's what she does. My job as a witch is to try to switch that around without getting killed in the process. I've been hospitalized 20 times because of my mother, right? We've gone the longest period of time without accident or injury. It's amazing. Knock on wood. She's not drinking anymore. That was because of me. That's because of what I'm doing right here. Things that people would say, oh, you're just a weird guy on YouTube. It's like, well, I keep my house sound. What the fuck do you do? Okay? I'm really working. People think they're working. It's like, I'm fucking working. You want to see the face of a working man? This is the fucking face of a working man. Most people don't do any work. They just do what they get paid for. You do your job. I don't have a job. I have a family that I keep sound every fucking way that I can, every fucking day of my life. And I made my choices, and you've made yours. And I guess we'll see how we all end up, eh? But I'm 50, and I'm fucking healthy fucking dude, man. All right. There's the pentagram. So we've worked up a good snarly amount of energy. This is safety, baby safety, human safety, all kinds of safety. Okay, so we're gonna hang out here for a second. It's deceptively warm because it's also cold, but let's see. Let's stand here, I guess. And most people aren't that interested in my comings and goings in life, but they don't want to know what I do with myself out here. And it shouldn't matter to them because, quite frankly, they're usually morons. Last night, I ate the body of a raven with a native man. And the raven has been talking to me. You know. And I wrote something about the raven last night. About how time gathers our stories and gathers our wishes and builds the flesh of yesterday and tomorrow. And that time is gathered up into the sun of our own flesh and blood. And you won't hear that on the radio. You won't see someone like me in a movie or a documentary. And so since you are listening to me, it might be interesting to tell you about myself, why I'm making these sounds as an animal. Right? Animals make sounds. We are meant, native people have known for millions of years. It's only modern people that don't understand this, that
The whole of nature is meant for us to learn about creation. All the animals, everything, are there to help us to learn. What do you know? We have all these schools, but nobody ever tells anyone what life is really about. Probably because your teachers don't know. Because I think if they knew, they would tell you, wouldn't they? After the billions of hours of instruction that white people have had in the last 250 years, no child has ever been told that all the creature of nature and the stars and the moon are there to teach you and connect you to the Creator and who you really are, and to help you preserve from the innermost core of your immune self, your family, and your relationships, and your sense of personal identity, which are all connected. And knowledge and all economics, right and wrong, in all the world, and is the only thing that will ever satisfy the economic system. It's the only thing that ever does, beyond sacrificing human beings to all of delusions. Right? I knew. Obvious, obvious, obvious. Fucking obvious, right? Fucking obvious. Obvious as the nose on your head. Right? Obvious, obvious, obvious. You'd have to be a moron not to see that. You'd have to be a fucking moron. You'd have to have had a lobotomy to not see that. How come you've never come up with that yourself? Why are you listening to me? Well, the fact is, I didn't come up with it. Native people teach us this. Right? They figured it out. I didn't. But I use it. And you didn't figure it out, maybe, but you use it every day. You use it because you know. You don't know intellectually, but you know. Your intellect does know, but you don't say it in a certain way to yourself. Because you've been taught that you only know something if you make certain sounds. But when you said googa googa as a baby, you made all of these sounds. Your parents should have heard this in the song of their children's lips. In the song of the poop in your diaper, they should have heard these words. But they didn't. Why not? Because they're deluded. I go out every day, and because of my mother's mental illness and talking to another sociopath, my sister, or anyone else, my life becomes unstable. I wake up, I go to sleep, I wake up, oh, life's unstable, life's unstable, life's unstable. No one should ever destabilize your life. No one healthy would do that. They would say, how's Landon doing? How's everything going? My poor father, his daughter, my sister, is a narcissist. She's abused him and abused my mother and stalked me for years. She does this all while, like a sociopath, fulfilling her career as a teacher, an author, educator, entrepreneur, making money, appearing on TV, all these things. But she can't consider the flesh and blood value of her own mother and father or brother. That's gone. She has a problem. And it's not going to fix itself. Ever. But I will come out here, and I've got enough people to think about, and I know that people need mercy. These sociopaths who came into my house once at the invitation sociopath that was staying in my house for a very cheap price. And people and sociopaths, they can figure out money and investments and politics and how to get places in life and manage complex, but they can't do ethics. They lose fidelity. It's like having a Photoshop program, and all of a sudden, when you put in certain data, it gets all blurry, and they start to get aggressive.
We start to need to control things and people because that part of the world, you, Landon, me, you next to me. So people really helping with the world don't make sense to you. What does that tell you? People of passion, warm-blooded, loving of life and nature, even in the Canadian cold. Those people, you don't understand them. Do your friends know that you don't understand decent people? What's the problem that you don't understand a decent man like me? How come my entire life, look at this beautiful land I have all to myself. How come it doesn't make sense? I didn't have to pay for it. It's all mine. Today, I don't have to rent it. You'd say, well, this belongs to the province of British Columbia or the federal government of Canada or the Queen or the banks. I have a stake in it. But today, it's mine. Whew. So, let's work on doing it first. So, I choose this stick. Okay, one. I have resonating in my blood. And you notice when you get angry, you see things crystal clear. And when you see things through anger, let's say people stalking, you see them crystal clear. And important questions you can't answer, but help to show the contrast and the contour and the resolution of what you're seeing. Because it's real, but it doesn't make sense. So let's say people are in your house, it's your house, and they're hurting you. And they're doing things to you, people that you know or people who know people you know. And you would never do that to anyone. And they're doing it to you, and no one's saying anything. And you look back 10, 20, 30 years, and you feel that. You feel it in their body language, their gestures, that it takes one little comment to allow you to see, like a bolt of lightning, exactly how different aspects of these people's minds think about you, and most importantly, how they don't think about you, how they're not thinking about you. You've been written out of a level of importance that preserves the safety and sanctity of your voice and your safety in your own home. And this has all happened around you because someone or people thinks that it should, or whatever, have formed a negative idea of you based on poor judgment. Now, normally people make poor decisions, right? And it goes along and something bad happens to them because they haven't really thought ahead. You would think it's not a good idea to allow people to form very violent ideas about someone who's invited you into their house. But somehow they do this, like it's nothing. And you take it, and they're okay with that. It's just, you're you. Let's go on with the night. And the space, and now you as a person, the space you occupy on the earth, you're really a peaceful person, right? I'm a peaceful person. But someone could come into my house and treat me like a lower animal kind of dog. And it sticks in your mind, crystallizes in there, and it makes you furious. And in that, it resolves questions and answers that give very little satisfaction because none of the things in your mind should ever have happened in the world. It's not just happening in your blood or to your blood. It's happening in the world. For the billions of people who are nice and want to be nice, none of whom think they're one day going to go to someone's home and they're this big. You think you're healthier than that. I'm healthier than that, right? That's not who we are. And you see them. You see that person's face and you hear that voice. And that moment, that table of mine, that's the last moment I can think clearly about that day. Because after that moment, I was raped in a touchless way. I was dissolved. First and last stroke of violence is to treat you like nothing. I don't mean on the internet, I mean in your own home. And the people doing it can't control themselves. They're giving you control. They can't control themselves. You've made them do it. You have to decide now what you're going. Are you going to make this more real or less real? Are you going to just let it go on with your dinner? I mean, they don't want you to get angry, do they? They don't think you should. I mean, they don't think you have the right to be in your own home. Do you think they expect you to be upset? What kind of person do you treat that way? Do you treat someone that way who has the right to be upset about it? How do you think they would behave if someone treated them that way? And these people enjoyed my home for the evening, had a nice time, and they left, and they never thanked me. And the ugly, fat, white sociopath who was using my home and needed a place to stay, and staying in my bedroom, didn't thank me either. Like the last time I saw her on a public ferry, she glared at me like she wanted to kill me. And yet I'd never, and this is important, never said a bad word to her or any of her friends. I simply allowed her to be anything she needed to be. And that's what I do. Just let you be who you need to be. And then you leave my life. And you'll be another sociopath in my books that I can talk about to the end of my days. Kim the sociopath, who works in kitchens for logging companies, oil companies. She basically makes large quantities of food for working men and women. Tree planting services. And I thought that was pretty cool. I imagine that was a lot of work, and I didn't see about her. I didn't know how to work hard. Who didn't have a strong work ethic. Who didn't learn that you work. And she built up enough money, and she had a guy, and they had a house, and they retired up north. And they made it all work. And they like money, and they like being around people with money. She was friends with these people, this gay couple who owned the business she worked in. Okay. And they were friends, and I did. Right? Not even if they gave me every reason to do so. And they enjoyed their night in my home. Left. It was as though I never existed. I give this tree more respect than that. And it generates anger. And that anger is something you should underestimate. You could wish these people ill, but you don't need to. They already are. I do. These types of people are already very, very sick. Very, very sick. It's not nice. It's not nice to think about. You would never wish somebody to be this sick. You would never wish somebody to be that sick, that they could be so violent. They could be around people with violence. They could watch violence around them and be ambivalent about it. They could be compatible with it. And in many respects, if you don't do anything, you become compatible with it. So now we've got a level of violence that forces people basically to be a part of it unless they object. What is that similar to? Well, it's similar to the economic industry. The way people are governed, you're made part of violence unless you object to it. And so we all seem like demons to each other. Why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you objecting to that? If you follow any major violence in the world, the only way to solve it is to stop living in the world. It's like stop banking, stop using money. But I don't think that's the solution. I think the solution lays on the other side of collecting our righteous anger. I'm hurt. If you look into my eyes, if you hear my voice, you see pain. You feel pain and bitterness, anger. I have this. I have this thing right here, like this stick. And what should you do with that? Well, and you can lend me some of your problems and your shock. You can put that into here too if you want. But you're not giving it to me. You're giving it to the earth. It's a giveaway. We're looking at turkey medicine. We're looking at antelope medicine, deer medicine, raven, bear, squirrel, spider. We're putting things into words. It's all in here. Everything I've talked about today, everything that is real for me, that is shocking for me, strewn throughout my homes, my residence, my occupations. But the best time is sitting down at a computer and writing a story or writing a poem. Really, or a song, those are my favorite things to do. But I also understand that all the rest of my life is part of that occupation. You can put all your shock into here, and I'm going to put it into this pentagram, which carries the intelligence of babies, the intelligence of the immune system at birth, and of the natural desire for milk, and the energy of the earth wanting to nourish us. It's negative. We're taking all that pain, that real pain, that no therapist or drug or TV show or ideology or cult or job is ever going to, no war, no fancy talk, no poetry or art or philosophy can in itself take away from you or me. That what would happen if it was gone? Well, we might find out. You'd probably feel better. And it was like it didn't need to be there. It's not as real anymore. You want to make it less real. But it is real. But we want it to want to be less real. But we don't want to go into denial. It's real. Doesn't have to be as real 5 minutes from now or 5 years from now, but it might. It might become less real, and then one day you wake up and it's real again. And it's coursing through you. Because people with brain parasites have blood parasites, and they can come in, they can glare at you and curse you just with a mindless stare. They can curse you just as soon as they sit down, right? This little old lady who was in palliative care made it to the cafeteria one day with another sick, demonic woman and was just stirring her food while on medication and said that cursed me and made it so that I would never be able to know her again. It cursed me in a violent way. It was already fait accompli, you see. And it's more shocking in this, in many cases, just what you're watching. It doesn't always affect you quite the same way. Why would anyone do that? And they'll often tell you why. Somehow it is there. It's like they did something for you. They think you lied to them. They think you're trying to manipulate them in some way. They don't think you're a good enough person or you work hard enough. They think you're enjoying some of the things you enjoy in life and you don't deserve them. You have a penis. You're like their father. You're not like their father. They hate their father. Or anything remotely concerned with what a father is something or someone that deserves to be sacrificed. And stories of plenty can easily be resolved or fleshed out by lunatic female energy among men and women that will make it so. And it's as though their entire nervous system, their sense of survival, since some childhood traumatic event, is based on being able to do nothing else to you. This. What do? Well, you see it. You appreciate what it is. You put it into this stick. Okay. And it's sick. And people die from these things. And these brain parasites and these blood parasites, they get into your blood. They can just open their mouth, they can just do a little thing, just like a witch. These aren't trained witches. These are sacks of blood and organs and thought and feeling and shock who have been animated by enough falsity and denial and suspension of disbelief. Now it has gained a considerable persuasive power in distributing parasitical, poisonous, and venomous attitudes, and the results of stalking and accusations as they do it, that how could you expect anything else given this or the other about you? And you're just an innocent person. In the sense that innocent means you're surrounded by evil, right? Innocent is to be in no sense, right? If you're innocent, if you're an innocent thing, part of the universe that's left, you've been, since you were a child, surrounded by evil. Because the world isn't really about people being anything but in no sense. So, and her eye is very cold. In no sense. In no sense. You're in a place that makes no sense to anybody. Because no one believes that anyone is, unless innocent means no one can be it, right? You go to court, you're never innocent, right? If a police officer doesn't like you, you're not innocent. Do you think a lot of human beings have the ability to make good judgments, good ethical judgments about complex human dynamics? No. Right? We don't train children to do that. But what do you think my children would learn? Ethics. Ethics, ethics, ethics. This is ethics. This is ethics. To be safe for a day, if I had nothing else to do and all oblivion was around me, this is what I would do. I suppose after that intro, I should take this with me. Not quite. Right. Interesting. I like, that's kind of a interesting art. I look around at these branches and think, where did I put this? Da da dee da dee da dee da dee da dee.